All right,
Action.
we're live. We're good.
We're
We're
rolling.
hopefully the connection will be good. I'm in Norway and I forgot to pay for the it looks good. That I saw all that in
Look at my hair.
clear high def. Yeah. It
I
looks very
shampooed it. I'm all washed up, but uh, I didn't even mean
but
that, but it's true. I'm washed up.
yeah, well yeah, I didn't want to say anything. But yeah, it's cool. I feel like I haven't talked to you forever. But I guess it's just been a week.
I know. I feel like I just talked to you.
We have
I've,
different perspectives.
and we've been
I'm in
texting a lot.
Yeah, I don't know about a lot, but yeah, I feel like I barely talk to anyone anymore because I'm on a different the time zone. It's like a different, it's a whole different society basically. Because I can only talk to people when it's like 11 a.m. their time, and I'm like at 2 in the morning. It's just like it completely removes you from civilization.
Well, and I've been in your position. Nobody cares about you. Once you have
No,
something going on that's fun, people are
no.
like, he's on his big tour. He's on his tour. Fuck him. He's never coming back. He's going to die. He's
Yep.
famous now. He lives in Spain.
I get no messages even during the times I get messages, during I get it's I'm forgotten.
Yeah, it's hard. This business, you leave and that's it. I mean,
I know.
I
I'm
text
done.
25 people a day. I'm a social guy. I got a lot of buddies. If I'm not texting, I was in Aruba. If I'm not reaching out, literally nobody reaches out to me.
I know. You ever
It's painful.
I think about that a lot. The fact that like people are only messaging me to get back to me messaging them
Right.
90% of the time.
And
Like
it's
it's
3 days later, they're like, oh
yeah.
shit, I forgot I have this shitty text from Raanan lingering.
like like if I don't message people, it's just empty. It's just sideways at the end where he's opening the mailbox and there's nothing there. So but I don't want to test that theory out. So I remember one time I was on the road and my phone broke for 3 days. And when I finally got it working, I was really excited for the amount of, I thought it'd be an explosion of messages. Nothing. I could have had my phone broken for the next month. It would have made a difference.
Yeah, you're sadder than me. I mean, I'm trying to pretend I'm like you, but I get a lot of texts. But no, it is hard. You're on a different thing, and you're gone forever. It's weird because I was just gone for 9 days and just got
Oh
back
my
last night,
God.
and you're still gone for 2 more weeks.
It's like Castaway. I don't remember what New York looks like. I don't remember how to tell jokes that Swedish people can't understand. Like I'm completely disassociated from everything. Also, get this. I was going to see worst person in the world today, right?
Yeah,
I was excited to see it.
I'm doing it right now.
And Daniel's with us now. Daniel came, Simonson.
Yeah.
And he immediately got sick because I think he's nervous about being in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just such a like when he was sick, I was like, do you want to see a movie the next couple days? And he was like, I think my soul is too weak to make that decision right now. He's just such a great character, you know what I mean? And
Well,
so what?
sorry, go ahead.
But anyway, I was like, I'm gonna see worst person in the world today. I was excited. I was gonna see it at 5 p.m. And he goes, do you see any problem with me seeing worst person in the world today in Oslo? Any issue with that?
It's going to be in their language, and you won't be able to understand it.
I'm such an American exceptional cunt. I just assumed it'd be in subtitles. And so I'm telling him, and he's like, well, how will you understand it? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I swear to God, if you didn't tell me that, I would have not realized there'd be a problem until I was in the theater and the first line of dialogue. I don't think I would have realized it at any point that would have been an issue.
Well, similarly, I saw Batman in Aruba, so it had Spanish subtitles. So there was a few times where I didn't quite catch the dialogue, so I would look to read it, and I'm like, wait, no, this isn't my language.
That's funny because we saw it and it had French and we saw Batman too, obviously, because we're talking about today. It had French and Dutch subtitles
at the same time. That's why you didn't like it.
But it is interesting. Like when you go to another country, you think you're all cultured, but you actually have to see American movies because you won't understand. They won't have. You can. Right. It makes you more of a Philistine. I can only see like Batman or the Lego Movie. I won't understand anything that's not American.
Yeah, I had that when I was in France. I was like, I got to go see a French film, and then I'm like, oh wait, they don't just tell you the plot. By the way, we noticed in Aruba they don't use Jesus. I think they can't use his name in vain or something. When someone in the movie, when someone says Jesus, it says like por favor.
Really?
Yeah. Or Christ.
Like,
because there's a few
Christ?
times it says Christ. No, it doesn't say Christ. It says like shit or whatever. It says like, it says "da" or whatever.
What is Aruba? What is it part of? Portugal? What's it part of?
Well, it's a Dutch island. It's owned by the Dutch, but it's out. They speak Spanish and they speak a little papiamento, which is a combination of Spanish and some other shit.
By the way, I finally, by being it took me to go to Europe, but I finally have cracked the code of, one of the great conversations in Seinfeld. Who are the Dutch? And what's the Netherlands? That exchange, which is one of the great
post Larry David.
Well, you got to admit, that's one of the most relatable exchanges, that confusion,
It is. It's very funny. Holland is the Netherlands. It's very funny, but well,
I finally, now I know. Holland is in the Netherlands. That's what it is. But I didn't know anything. I'm like, who are the Dutch? What are the Danish? What is the Swiss? What are the Swedes? I didn't know any of that shit. So now
what do you mean? Holland is in the Netherlands. What does that
Holland
mean?
Is a region of the Netherlands. There's North Holland and South Holland. And North Holland is where I got my hand job from that prostitute in Amsterdam. And but then there's Denmark, where they speak Danish, not Dutch. You probably do that.
Of course, yes. I know. I've traveled a lot. Yes.
Well, I'm finally getting it. Denmark, Danish, and then the Dutch. That's fucking the Netherlands. Those fucks. But it's also. But then there's these fucking other countries that shouldn't exist because they're just there to confuse you, like Belgium. What the fuck is Belgium? And they speak mostly Dutch.
Well, Belgium's a country.
It's a country, but it's like New Hampshire. It should just be combined with Vermont and Maine and all into one place because it's just it's confusing to you. But
then Kentucky and fucking and South Carolina should be one state. Fuck off.
Kentucky has got personality, baby.
New Hampshire's got personality. Go up to New Hampshire and start shitting on it. You'll get tuned up. That's our personality up in New England.
But anyway,
you suck. First of all, I've traveled all over Europe, and I'm a New Englander, so none of what you're saying makes any sense. You're just a Nimrod. I don't know how you're so smart in some things and so retarded in others. It's really impressive.
Well, I'm smart at 3 things, but Belgium is Dutch and Switzerland is Swiss. But
I can't tell if you're doing a bit or not. I don't even understand.
But Sweden is the Swedes, but they speak Swedish, not Swiss.
But they're not anywhere near each other. Those aren't even close to each other. It's 1,000 miles apart.
But they sound similar, and
because they start with S.
Yeah.
Do you get North Dakota and North Carolina confused?
Yes. And both countries are fucking pussies. They're both neutral. It's very confusing.
Well, they're smart.
They're smart. Anyway, but here's another thing. We saw Batman, and before we get into it, which, by the way, you saw it twice now. Apparently, you're studying it for
twice,
a
baby.
Thesis statement in college.
I got a lot of notes. Who's we? Who saw Batman?
I saw it with Louis and Daniel Simonson. We saw it in Belgium.
Nice. No Adrian?
No, she didn't give a shit. But this is up there with those movies where people are loving it. And if you love this movie, you're just admitting that you don't care about character, you don't care about story, all you care about is mood. That's all you care about, just a tone of something, which is already a tone they've done,
I think that's a little unfair, first and foremost, but I do have to give a statement here.
Yeah, you have a redaction or whatever. I'll bring up the text to fucking cancel you right now.
Well, I did say on the previous episode, I loved it. I had some critiques and I did have some problems, but as we've spoken about before, this happens where I was in Fort Worth of all places.
I get it.
I mean, give me a break. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. You're out there with Louis. Louis paying for everything. You're staying in nice hotels. You're getting hand job from Swiss hookers in Dutch. And so
Swedish.
You got a lot going on there. And so you're watching with a group. And when you watch with a group, you have someone to talk to and you get to go, this seems a little weird. Why does that make sense? And then this person goes, that's crazy. And so you have some laughs. Now I'm in Fort Worth, suicidal. There's nothing to do. It's a cowboy town. And I was like, tomorrow I'm getting up at 10 o'clock a.m. I'm getting my tea in a bed, or 9 o'clock a.m. I'm having my tea. I'm going to write. I'm going to go see the 10:30 screening of the new Batman.
I get it.
Good reviews.
It was a good day. It was a good day.
Good reviews. And so I'm like 10:30 in the morning. I'm getting a giant bag of candy and M&Ms. And popcorn. So I had my popcorn. I had those first. I had the M&Ms next. I'm all excited, and there's like me and 3 other people because it's 10:30 a.m. in downtown Fort Worth. And I had some fun. There's some fun. There is some fun in there. I think Paul Dano's great. I like the cinematography. The music is good at times and just horrendous at times.
I like how the director heard like they gave him 4 scores, like different themes. He was like,
and
"We'll
7
use
years
all
ago.
He was like, "We'll use all the themes." He's like, "No, you got to pick one." No. We'll just use them all on top of each other and throw Nirvana in there. Like it's literally 4 different scores, like on top of each other.
Yeah, there's
It's
like
insane.
horns. It's so. And when I saw the movie, I had issues with it. A couple scenes I'm going to talk about that I wrote down.
This is like a Me Too apology. You're like, I've grown since then. I've changed. I'm going to go away for a while and self-reflect.
I understand now what I should have said, but there are scenes that work. I don't hate it as much as you, but there is some real nonsense in there, for sure.
Yes, I get what you're saying, though. Look, it sounds like you were in a lonely place, and we've all been there.
Fort Worth.
There was those 2 months where I thought Jumanji 2 was the greatest movie of all time.
First of all, I'm still not over old. This was just a couple weeks ago. Old is the single worst movie I've ever seen. Old is worse than Batman, and you praised it more than I praised Batman.
I guess when we're alone, we're fucked. We don't have anyone to. Maybe our own uninfluenced opinions are always good, you know.
Well, and again, there are things in there that I like. I like the cinematography. I actually like he's new at being Batman. He's like a couple years in. It's not going great. He tried to have this other name. Is fun.
By the way,
a journal is fun. The detective stuff is fun. I like the riddles. I like the Zodiac aspect.
I've never seen a Batman where it's like I'm so convinced that he can't fight from everything about him besides the fact that he fights. You know what I mean? Like everything about his character is someone who's like a vegan pussy who would like never fight, who's like anemic, who'd like break his arm immediately. And then he's just beating up these giant fat dudes. It's just insane.
No, I don't know. I don't see that part. I don't
really.
No,
you saw him as tough. He's like a little.
I saw him as tough because he's fighting. I mean, he can be tough. You can be moody and tough. I mean, there's plenty of people that just don't come off that way. I mean, again. Diego, my trainer, he's a vegan. He's like a vegan guy who dresses nice.
But he's not like pale and like all like this guy this guy reminds me of every like hot guy who tries to look sad to try and get laid. It's like every fucking emo fucking bitch from high school. I hate that personality.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't think that's as fair a criticism for a movie that has plenty to criticize. I don't.
All right, well, let me criticize it from just outside of that. I mean, to me, the movie, he's just not an interesting character. There's no conflict with him, and there's no relationships in the entire movie. Like him and Alfred is like a half a scene, and then he's rushing back like he cares. You know, him and Zoe is just like a weird sexual shit. There's no like character development at all. I don't like. And you don't get into his head at all, like the way you do with Christian Bale or Michael Keaton. I don't see any, there's no like internal conflict at all.
I don't agree with this part either. I mean, the journaling stuff, I mean, he's literally saying what's in his head. So, I mean, they're spoon feeding it a little bit, but they are giving you some
journaling. I mean,
they give you some conflict. I mean, he's trying, and by the end, there is character development because he's like, okay, I can just be of service. I can't solve all this stuff, but I can do some of that. I mean, to me, that there was growth.
Half-baked. It was so half-baked to me. I don't know. It's like
no, it's completely baked.
Some of the things, like the way, like I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some interesting ideas in the movie. The idea that his legacy, like the Wayne legacy, is tainted. Kind of this, like, you know, this idea that our pasts are, you know, more criminal, and it's also, you know, to do with, I guess, with like white privilege and shit. It's not a terrible idea. But you don't see any connection he has with his father in the movie where he feels any kind of like respect for that legacy. So when you find out his father is tainted, you don't care. You don't understand why that's so upsetting to him. He seems like the kind of guy the whole time who doesn't give a shit about his father's legacy. It would have been good if they actually showed him like really believing in his father's legacy. And then when he finds out his father was involved with the mob, that being a big betrayal of his beliefs, then you could fucking be invested into the movie. But you don't develop that side of him. And I know people say, well, the Wayne legacy, it's understood from the other movies. It's not. It looks like he doesn't give a shit about anything. much less his legacy. So when he finds out his legacy is tainted, it has no weight whatsoever.
I think there's some serious criticisms of this movie, and I have a bunch because I think a lot of it doesn't work and
You don't
it's
think
downright silly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting point, but I don't know. I did feel it. I didn't get that from it. I thought, he's struggling. Obviously, he's depressed. They make it a little bit modern with the anxiety and stress and shit. But obviously, that's implied that he's got family problems.
I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna do a new Batman, you have to have some reason for his he's just like a moody kid, but they don't explore it. I'm not saying it's not an interesting.
His parents
idea.
are dead. His parents are dead.
Yeah,
the
but
city's
like,
shit. He's torn. He's trying to do something. He's living in the dark. He's only out at night. He's got that taxi driver sort of aspect.
I don't know. It's very unexplored. It's very much more just like he's moody. That's, to me, it's like a surface level moodiness.
But don't you think also, I can't stand when they do a reboot and they're like, here's how it all started.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I know Batman. I know Batman.
Yeah, we don't ever need to see the parents killed again. That's unnecessary. That's like the flight attendant telling you to buckle, explaining how a seatbelt is buckled. It's unnecessary. What?
How weird is it that his parents were killed in 2001? It like made me feel 100 years old. I'm like, wait, I'm older than his parents? What?
Wait. Is that what they? Oh yeah, because it's the date on the.
Yeah, like they were killed in the 9/11 attack. It's fucking crazy.
We're gonna be like older than fucking Alfred soon. Like Alfred's gonna be our age, pretty close. We're like Gordon's. We're not. Yeah, Batman's too young for us. That's the thing. Like he's like 20.
Yeah, it's weird.
We're Gordon. That's who we're supposed to relate to, Commissioner Gordon.
Well, I did. I thought he was great. I thought Jeffrey Wright
he was terrible.
Great. No, I thought he was great.
The movie's so bad it got a bad performance out of fucking Jeffrey Wright. Every line, the soft mumbling. First of all, everyone's speaking in whispers when it's not necessary. It's like a parody of itself.
Well, first of all, it is a comic book movie, so you have to give some leniency. I do give some leniency that like they're trying to appeal to younger people. It's based on a comic book. I do think there are times where Jeffrey Wright is talking like Batman. They're both kind of going like, I don't know. It's crazy.
What are you doing? And there's no one else around. And what are you doing? And by the way, it looked like they're about to kiss 12 times in the movie. Like they got so
what's
close.
Wrong with that? What, you don't like interracial homosexuality? Is that you got a problem with that?
I don't like one of those, and I'm not going to tell you which one. But
all right, that's fair.
But so I don't know. I get that it's a comic book movie, but here's the thing with these fucking comic book movies. You try to make everyone so fucking moody and dark and 4 hours long. And then when you criticize it, people are like, it's a comic book movie. Well, then don't be the lengths of Schindler's List and be like a fucking moody, dark Seven ripoff. Like, and then try to act like you don't deserve criticism like a regular movie. If that's the case, it'd be fucking fun. It's not fun.
I'm not saying it doesn't deserve criticism. I'm just saying there's going to be like The Dark Knight. You like the Christopher Nolan ones. There's some like real cheese in those.
Sure,
and you just go, okay, it's a comic book. They got to talk comic book.
Nothing but the cheese. That's the thing. The Christopher Nolan movie has some cheese, but this movie honestly made me realize how good the Nolan movies are. It's kind of like whenever they do like a remake and you're like, God, that original. All remakes mostly do is make you realize what worked in the original. And this is like, for me, this was like, God, I've always loved the Batman, the Michael Keaton one, but this made me realize how good the relationship between Alfred and Batman is, and how and the relationships are so interesting, and the villains are so interesting. And I'm watching this, and the scenes are, to me, they remind me of, you ever play like a video game like Arkham Asylum, like any of these video games that have like the movie.
Let me stop you. No.
I know. I've only played them a couple times, but they have.
Sure.
I hate video games, but they have movie scenes in them. And they're like, just movie scenes with like dialogue, but the scenes in this movie are exactly like movie scenes in a video game where every line is just explaining something. Like pretty much 98% of the dialogue is expository, which is so flat.
Now that is a good criticism to me, because a huge criticism I have is with these big franchise movies. So much of the first movie is just setting up the Penguin, who has nothing in this movie. He sucks. He's not anything. It doesn't give a shit. All the mob stuff, they just need to establish Penguin, who, by the way, is just allowed to pull a gun out in front of all the cops and no real repercussions. And then he's like, it wasn't me. I didn't shoot. So they have to do all this setup for a thing that's really not involved. I assume Penguin will be bigger in the next movie,
Yeah, it's like him taking over now. I mean, yeah, and also it's like to me, so much of the acting is just not even acting. It's like, yeah, I guess Colin Farrell's good. Is he good, or is it just a good fat suit?
He's a
I,
little
I
bit
have no
silly.
idea. I mean, I just don't like. It goes beyond acting. It's like anyone could have been in that fat suit, or no one. Just CGI it at that point. It's just like to me, it like questions what even acting is once you have that much of a that unrecognizable. You know.
Now, what about the Churchill movie? Did you hate
I
that
mean,
performance?
there's more emotion in that. Even though he had the fat suit, there's still like, I mean, there's still more recognizability. You know, in the
I
expressions.
guess it doesn't
This,
look like Gary Oldman to me. It's a great performance.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you're
No, you
right, but
just don't like this movie. So that criticism has been blown out now because the Churchill movie is good and
it's
Oldman
not
is
just
great.
it's not he is great, but it's not just the fat suit. I'm not maybe I don't know how to articulate myself completely. It's not simply the fat suit. It's that the face on the fat suit creates facial expressions that I don't even think the actor is really manipulating half the time. You know what I mean? That's
No, I
what
do
it
know.
goes
I do know what
beyond.
you mean. It's weird. It doesn't feel like Colin Farrell. It's just whatever. That whole
Like Gary
character I
Oldman's
thought was
face is
silly.
clear. Yeah, no, he sucks, and it's I don't know. But first of all, the least believable part is also then the other thing. Why do all the cops have high voices? They're like, "Hey, how's it going? What are you doing over there?" Like it's a very weird choice that every like the original cop, the one who gets killed, he's just like,
Yeah, the Sean
"Hey, what are
Donnelly.
you doing? Don't get Batman in here." They all sound
Yeah,
like, "Shut up. Don't get Batman in here. Why are you involving Batman?" Like, why do they all sound like fucking Sean Donnelly or fucking longshoreman from the 30s? It's so bizarre.
I agree. It is silly, but I do think it's trying to be a little comic
Who the
booky.
hell brought Batman in here?
But I do think, but don't you see? I mean, like, I understand you can't just give comic book movies a free pass, and I hate most of them. I just only watched the Batman ones, but
I'll allow some cheese.
I think it is supposed to be like, hey, I'm an old grizzled cop. Hey, this is because it's based on a little cartoon with thought bubbles that say pow and wow.
But
So
it's,
I think it gives them a little like, hey, I'm a New York cop.
I get that. A, I'm in New York, but what if it feels like their balls are being squeezed? Like it's like it looks like they just took nitrous.
Maybe it's a metaphorical. The mob, Falcone is squeezing their balls, huh? That could be something. Maybe it's cinematic.
Here, why are you working with Batman, Gordon? I feel like I'm watching Little Rascals. It's just like or that mob movie where it's all kids, Bugsy Malone.
Well, whatever. Let's get to some real criticism.
But
what,
real
what about
quickly,
Dano? Did you like Dano? You hated
no,
Dano.
I
like
hated
Dano.
Dano. I've always hated Dano. He fucking sucks.
What?
He sucks. I hate Dano. He couldn't hold a candle to Day Lewis. It made fucking There Will Be Blood uneven because he's not that interesting. And he's
You're
not
out of your
this.
mind.
First
If
of
you're
all,
gonna talk, Paul Dano and There Will Be Blood is great, and you're just an asshole if you don't.
I don't think so. I don't think he had. I think he's miscast in that. But look, so
he's unbelievable in that movie.
In this movie,
Maybe that's what you're
first
saying.
of all, before you see him, it's just like the fucking face, the mask, and then it's the voice modulator, right? So, like, to me, not really acting at this point. You're not seeing his face. You're not hearing his real voice. So whatever. But that's fine. It's just not like, I'm not going to be like, ooh, he's so scary because of the voice modulator. You know, I could be scary. Give me a fucking mask made out of tape and a voice modulator.
Yeah, or just take your shirt off. But you don't find it creepy when somebody's in the house, all of a sudden there's a dark figure behind? I mean, that's spooky.
It's creepy, but that's not him. I'm just talking about Paul Dano's acting. It's just like he has so little to do with it. But then you do see him at the end. Yes. You're like, all right, now we'll get, because this movie, by the way, is so much an homage of Seven, which is just upsetting that it's just like Seven is the template for this.
I mean, movie. Seven stinks. But there's some Zodiac in there. There's a little Zodiac, taxi driver in there.
There's taxi driver, but there's a lot of Seven between the serial killer shit, which could have been interesting. The serial killer shit, and then also when they go to his place and they're like, he has all these journals here, you know?
Right.
Which is very much Seven. And I get that's an interesting link between him and Batman. I will say this, there are some interesting concepts in the movie that they don't fully explore. The fact that Batman and him are kind of like so similar, you know?
Yes.
Those are interesting ideas. But then when you get to Paul Dano, every line he says, he's just trying to be crazy in every word. He's just like, Ave Maria. It's this kind of thing where you're just acting crazy in every line. And it gets like exhausting to me. I just didn't find it like he just, I mean, and I get, you know, you want to be like over the top, But honestly, they set him up as such a scary character. The fact that he's so over the top crazy, I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought it was I thought there was no content behind it. It was just like, I'm gonna be weird in this line. Now I'm gonna be weird in this line. And then his motive also just sucks because they try to make him look like a crazy serial killer, but then he just wants revenge for how he was treated. It makes it not that interesting of a character.
I thought he was interesting. I thought he was fun. I hated the mob shit. The mob stuff I just thought
Mob
was
shit's
annoying.
awful.
And I don't know why they think they need multiple things. I guess it's just to set up a further thing. To me, it's like, just give me the Riddler. There's a serial killer on the loose. That's it. He's fun. He's spooky. It's scary. He's got this weird voice.
Yeah.
He's killing people. And that's fun. I
agree.
The mob shit was ridiculous, but I thought it was fun. I liked the little showdown where he's in the jail thing and he's being goofy. And some of it to me is a bit camp. It's a bit campy. It's a comic book movie. He's a comic book villain. He's the Riddler. I mean, think about Jim Carrey prancing around and flipping things around.
I'd rather watch Jim Carrey. At least he had some jokes.
I mean, Jack Nicholson pulling out this like long gun. It's a Batman villain. He's a Batman villain.
I love Jack Nicholson, but
I love Jack Nicholson too. I love all these people. You know what
the difference is? Those characters are funny. He's not funny. He's over the top without being funny. Like, to me, that's what's annoying. It's like either like be like Heath Ledger, which it is kind of serious and really creepy, or be hilarious and over the top. Paul Dano
Heath Ledger's funny too.
I mean, he's a little funny, but he's mostly creepy. But Heath Ledger's, I mean, Paul, whatever the fuck his name is neither. He's not funny and he's not scary. It's like it's either one. I mean, Jack Nicholson as the Joker is like one of the funniest performances of all time and kind of creepy. I
don't know that he's creepy, but to me, it's a Batman villain and it's fun. We're trying to catch this killer. He's on the loose. He's leaving the riddles. The riddles are fun. The detective stuff, the cards are creepy. That stuff worked for me. I thought it was fun. Let me throw out some things that I thought were complete dog shit. Basically, everything with Catwoman. Her mask is like LOL. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. It looks ridiculous. She looks like her mask looks like these like people, the anti-COVID people were wearing. Like, hey, here's my mask, you asshole. It's just like two stripes over her nose.
They have to make everything now like, because they don't ever go like Joel Schumacher took it to this elaborate like flamboyant thing. So now everything looks like you could make it at home yourself. You know what I mean? Everything's like Paul Dano just put duct tape together for a mask. Batman's car looks like Batman's car. I've seen that car in New York. I feel like you could just make that car yourself. Everything looked very much self-made. So with her, they want to make it like, oh, I'm just like someone stealing it. I'm just a robber, but then it still has kind of like cat ears and shit.
Well, also she's like 5'2", 88 pounds, just beating every guy up. I mean, like one guy can.
That's
just
how I feel about Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, but he obviously is not. He's obviously in shape.
I mean, I guess he has like an enclave chest. Like he looked like Daniel Simonson, which Simonson loved. Simonson loved it because he was like, finally a Batman like me who's awkward. Like it was like a black kid watching Black Panther. He was like, I can relate so much to him.
By the way, when did shoulders become such a thing? He's got the same shoulders as Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker.
It's gross.
It's just look, I got weird shoulders. I'm a guy. Look at these shoulders.
I actually think he's terrible in it because I also feel like he looks like you know what he looks like? Do you remember in Dark Knight when they have the Joker's like crazy people from Arkham Asylum come out?
Yeah.
They're like he looks like one of them. He looks like
the scene where he's talking to Alfred in the morning and he's like all squinty and he puts sunglasses on. It's just like I laughed out both times. I just laughed. It's like that is ridiculous. But here's the thing. I mean, I have so many things to shit on. Here's the thing that makes the least amount of sense is cinematically, right? Like from a script standpoint, there's back-to-back scenes where somebody just tells Batman, Bruce Wayne, a thing and he believes them and it's supposed to be like this big moment. And the scenes are next to each other. It's when Falcone, John Turturro, who's great, always great.
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, it was that guy was the guy. That guy's the rat. And he's like, what? Oh, this big reveal. Holy shit. Everything's so clear. And literally the next scene, they don't pad it with anything. He's talking to Alfred in the hospital. And Alfred's like, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened. And he's like, what? Oh, and he just takes both of their words completely for it. You can't have a reveal followed immediately by a reveal. There should be a half hour of cinema in between them.
To me, it was all like these reveals that also don't matter, are not like the reveals in the movie. First of all, I agree 100% with you. The other reveal, which is just ridiculous, like when Zoe Kravitz has that big reveal where she's like, John Turturro's my father. These movie makers think that's on par with like Luke, I am your father. They think that's like the biggest reveal in cinema. Everyone watching that, like, we don't care. Like,
yeah, it didn't make any sense.
We don't give a shit that it's her father. That's not like it's my sister. It's my mother. It's both of us. It's not that big of a twist. And we're supposed to be like, oh my God, this character we barely knew is related to this other hot character we barely know. Who gives a shit?
I agree. It didn't make sense. And it felt like they had to add, it just felt like they thought they had to have more things going on. And they didn't. Give me the Riddler. The Riddler is a Batman character who's murdering people. Batman has to find him and go get him. And Batman takes a break from beating up all those white kids that played the knockout game. And you know how that happens. And so just give me the Riddler. I don't care about this mob stuff. Then there's a huge, throughout the whole movie, they're talking about this mobster who's not even in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
There's the other mobster. They kept referencing a guy who's not in the movie.
They're talking about the guy from I think it's he's in the other movies.
Mulroney.
Yeah, I know. I was confused for that. I thought that was John Turturro. I was like, yeah, there's this other mobster. Too. Yeah, no one's watching Batman for the mobster legacy. No one's like, finally, we'll get to know about.
No, I have mob movies. There's mob movies already.
Yeah, finally we'll get to know about the nuances of the mafia and Gotham. Also, why are there mobsters when there's fucking villains? It's just ridiculous that there's like real villains, but then also an Italian mobsters.
That's what I mean. I'm like, this movie should be an hour and 50 minutes, and just it's the Riddler. Catwoman didn't need to be in there. And the two worst scenes in the movie, by the way, are with Catwoman. One is on the roof during sunset or sunrise where they have like a little bit of a romantic thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. That whole conversation is nonsense. Who cares? The worst scene in the movie should end with the Riddler and the Joker meeting. Have it end on this dark moment where he's like, I like your style. They're laughing. And there's a riddle. That worked for me. That was fun. I like that. It should end there, but instead they have almost like Psycho, that scene where like they just sit and chat for a while. Catwoman and Batman just chat, and he's like, come on, brutal. Stay, let's date. And she's like, no, I can't. I have to go. Whatever.
It's so annoying. And it once again, it reminds me of how good the other movie, like the original Batman has, I think, the best ending, where Kim Basinger's in the car and Alfred's like, Bruce Wayne might not be here. He's like going to be a little late. And she's like, of course. And then it cuts to him alone on the building, and you realize how isolated he is. Mm-hmm. So they already captured that perfectly, the emotional unavailability. And then they try to do it again with this fucking bullshit in the fucking cemetery. It's just like so prolonged, and they don't have a relationship. There's no like real relationships in this movie. It's all, I mean, maybe it is the perfect movie for the young generation, because it is clearly a movie not for us. It's for like 19-year-olds, you know?
Right.
It's for people who find like androgynous Robert Pattinson hot, you know? They would have loved to have Timothée Chalamet play Batman, but even that was beyond believability that he could beat up people. But it was basically that androgynous person. And then the whole, it's like this self-centered, narcissistic kind of movie. But it just, to me, like, can you name one good relationship in it?
Let me think. No, I guess not. But
I mean, like, there's no there's no interesting relationship even between him and like with Batman and Joker in both movies. There's like an interesting dynamics. Even this was the Riddler. It's like they're not really connecting really at any level. He's, you know what I mean? He's not really that. I don't know. It's like there's just no. I don't know. I think a movie without connection, character relationships, no matter whether it's a superhero movie or not, is just so flat without it. This movie is mostly explaining plot points, and the plot points are, like you said, 40 different twists, which we don't give a shit about. And there's so many of them. So we're just bored. Like, oh no. It's like a ridiculous amount of twists we don't care about. And then they're overly explained. I tried to write some of the lines down. Like, it's also overwritten for like to work like across the world, I think. So they dumb it down. Like, there's literally parts where like she'll be listening in and someone will be like, "Oh yeah, that's from the Maroney case," and then you'll hear Batman going, "He's talking about the Maroney case." Like they'll just like repeat what's
Right.
happening, and it's just like, it's yep.
I thought that was a fun gadget. The eye thing was a fun gadget. It's a video. But how come when she takes the contact out, the audio stops?
I know. Yeah,
that was silly. Also, it didn't match up where like there's a second where he's like, look at them longer. They can't I didn't get to identify it. And later everyone she just looks at for a second gets identified. Also,
right.
No one notices she's just having a conversation with herself.
She's like, I don't want to look at them too long. I'll be spotted. Meanwhile, I'm talking out loud like a crazy person, but that's not suspicious at all. She's literally just talking out loud.
Yeah, no, that part's insane. Well, she stinks. Her character, she's hot. I know you jerked off to her twice, whatever.
That's part of the movie. Me jacking off to her afterwards.
But that character stunk. That character did absolutely nothing for me. I didn't care about her dad. I didn't care about their romantic involvement. I didn't care about her just beating up men. It didn't make sense.
But that's the thing. I hated the movie so much. Just looking at her was the only part of the movie I enjoyed, just because she's so beautiful.
Right.
No,
I guess.
Do you not think she's beautiful?
Her haircut. I don't know. She's not my cup of tea or whatever. Hair. I don't know. I love
that short hair. I think I want just a black man.
Yeah, I think so. You need a petite black man. You need like Ian Lara. Very hot.
Or Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson looks like an ex of mine. Every time I see him, I get like goosebumps because he reminds me of
By the way, how about the scene? Like, I want to talk about some individual scenes here. How about the scene? Sure. I got a couple points that I want to make. The scene where Peter Sarsgaard, who I love, who looked like Stanhope in this movie.
Yeah.
He's got a bomb around his neck. And Batman's just like hugging him and whispering in his ear when the bomb goes off. Not affected at all. I mean, it's a massive explosion. It blows off Sarsgaard's. Batman, I mean, half of his face is revealed.
Let me tell you, this suit is so great. It keeps you from every. Also, like, doesn't anyone just want to shoot? Just shoot him in the fucking cheek. It's all open right there.
Here's the thing, too, that doesn't work in the movie. The whole ending in the arena does not make sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's horrible. And he's hanging off. There's this one scene, it's supposed to be dramatic, the climax. And as I've said, there's no stakes because we know Batman survives. We know Gotham survives. We know everyone survives. But he's hanging off and the music is so bad at times. The scene where the sun is setting and they're talking, and it's just these heavy strings. It's just
they have that woman say, oh, that weird haunting woman singing.
So bad. But he's hanging off the Jumbotron. And it's the climax, not one of the many fake false climaxes. And the guy's pointing the gun at him. And it's supposed to be this big scene. And then Catwoman comes in for the save, High Noon, which we talked about, started in the movie High Noon. Catwoman comes in for the save, exactly like High Noon. But that's supposed to be the big dramatic moment. But Batman has been shot 700 times already. It doesn't work. It's very basic writing to me where I'm like, he's been shot with a machine gun. That scene was cool. I liked that when it's all dark and the machine gun goes off.
That shot was cool. That shot was
fun. Cool. I like that. But it's like, we've watched him get shot by 7,000 rounds, but now you want me to be scared when a guy's pointing a gun at him. That can't be the climax.
It's at that cheek. He's right in the aiming for that one. It's like the spot on the Death Star. You just got to get a bullet right in the cheek right there.
But maybe you might remember when a massive explosive goes off directly into his cheek and he just turns the other cheek. Hello, folks.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess like the suit has even though it looks like he made the suit himself and it's kind of awkward. I guess it has some kind of explosion repellent.
Right.
Well, at one point he gets shot because he does. At one point he gets shot. He looks like he's in pain. It's like he gets shot in the balls, and it looks like he's kind of in pain. But I'm like unclear by like what is the pain? Is that like a punch in the stomach? I don't understand. Yeah.
I think like a bulletproof vest, it still nails you. It just doesn't pierce.
Yeah.
It's like the vaccine. You still get sick, but you don't die.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. The least believable thing I thought in the movie was, the original cop, the fat guy.
The high voice Donnelly guy?
Yeah, the first guy who's like, wait, you got a lot of nerve to bring Batman in here right now.
Yeah.
This is how a tough cop sounds. Well, he's like pretty fat. And then you find out he got kidnapped while exercising at the gym at night. That guy don't look like a night night exercising is pretty intense. At night?
Well, don't they say something about his wife? He's trying to get in shape for his wife or something.
I don't remember that. I just, if ever there was a body that was not exercising at 1 a.m.
All right, we got to get to the worst part of the script, the movie.
All right, what's the worst part?
The worst part is the clue that is a rat with wings. They literally have 4 different twists theories. First it's a pigeon, a stool pigeon, a rat with wings. Then it becomes, hey, a penguin has wings. Oh, it's the penguin. This is where it really is dumbed down. And a rat with wings. You know how a penguin is a rat with wings.
Sure.
And then a rat with wings is Batman. It's Batman. Yes. He's a rat with wings. No, wait. A falcon is a rat with wings, which nobody's ever said ever. A falcon is like big and like powerful and strong.
Wait, what did it end up as? It ended up as a falcon?
I don't know. I think it's falcon because a falcon was the rat.
Oh, falcon. What is this, Sesame Street? We're learning about different types of birds.
I mean, literally 4. You can have one where everybody thinks it's this, and then there's a reveal that no, it's this. You can't have 4. There's more fucking rat with wings theories than there are fucking members of Green Day. I mean,
no, it's not a falcon. It's a bald eagle. No, it's not a bald eagle.
It could be an owl. Ooh.
It's a puffin. A puffin's like a rat with wings.
It's fucking insane. And no one's ever called a falcon or a penguin a rat with wings. And then the whole...
when you see a beautiful falcon flying, you're not like, look at that shit-covered rat.
I mean, it's a fucking football team. The Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons. The Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. No, that's insane. Yeah. I mean, rat with wings... Rat with wings is good for a bat, which I believe they stole that from Louis. I feel like he says that in one of his specials. He's like, I hate bats. They're just like a rat with wings, you know?
Well, also it's in the movie Major League 2. They hit a pigeon, and he goes, it's a rat with wings anyways.
So every bird gets the rat with wings thing.
Well, pigeon makes sense because they're everywhere. They shit on everything. They're New York.
Yeah.
I guess
that's how you insult an animal. You say a rat with whatever they have, right?
I guess so.
That's how you insult an animal. But yeah, definitely
You're
not
a rat with glasses.
Definitely not falcon. That's crazy.
No, it's crazy. It doesn't make sense. And his name's Falcone. So it doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, hey, Falcon. Where you're like, what?
Well, it's like forcing a pun. Well, also, like, once again, this goes back to the 42 twists you don't give a shit about. Every scene has a twist and you don't care. Oh, she's my father. Oh, that mailman on the street. That's my second cousin. Oh, it's not this kind of bird. It's like, you don't give a shit. Like, it's just like, so like, they don't mean anything. There's no human relationships in this movie. So there's nothing you care about. And I'll say that for superhero movies, like any other movie, you need some kind of human emotion. Robert Pattinson just walks around like a gloomy little bitch. There's nothing inside. I get he journals, but there's nothing to hold on to. He doesn't feel like a superhero. I just feel like this movie is it's all mood. And I don't give a shit if it has a couple cool shots. I know people are like, ooh, the shot is cool. Yeah, there's some cool shots, but a movie needs to be more than just a couple cool shots.
Well, also, but I do think he's at the beginning. It's the first of 9 movies. It's going to be a 9-season fucking thing. First, obviously, there's way too much fat in the movie. I mean, it's 3 hours long, which is insane. But I do think they are setting
character development.
But you're like, he doesn't seem like a superhero. Well, that's the thing. He's not a superhero yet. He's 2 years in. He's like he's fledgling. He's trying to figure out his role. That to me is interesting. One thing we haven't talked about is how bad the mayor-elect is, that actor. She is horrendous. She also gets shot in the ribs and is totally fine like 5 minutes later.
That's
she
a
is
bat suit.
so
She's
bad.
not actually black. That's a bat suit.
Her performance is really horrendous.
Well, 2 things I want to say about that. One thing, the thing you brought up years ago or whatever, which is very accurate, where if this wasn't like a woke time, I'd be like, she could possibly be the bad guy. Because that's like a classic bad guy. The one who's like, the one who seems like the one who seems the most ethical tends to be like the bad guy, like in The Dark Knight Rises, Maria and Cotillard.
Right.
She like, so I would have thought that, but then I'm like, oh, it's a black woman. She can't be the bad guy. So that's just one thing that it ruins that possibility or that wondering. But the other thing is, it's fine to have black people in the movie. There's quite a few of black people in this movie, a little too many if you ask me, but there's quite a few. But the mayor is just from a different type of movie. She's just like, seems like she's from like a very modern, she just doesn't fit into the Gotham kind of world,
No. And she just stinks. I mean, she's really, really bad.
She's not. It's like Tiffany Haddish in
The card counter.
The card counter. You just can't have these like modern like talking black women in a movie where everyone else is whispering like this.
Right.
And then she's just like, we need to get this situation. It's just like a weird, it's like she's not on the right vocal page.
And she's 23 years old and she gets shot like in the torso.
I'm surprised they shot her. I'm surprised. I didn't think you could even shoot a black woman in a movie anymore.
But then she's just like up and walking, which is fine. And also Batman, when he comes down, that's another scene that doesn't make sense. The dramatic scene where he's hanging on the cord from the Jumbotron and he like takes his bat thing out and he slices it. It's like this big dramatic, it's like whoosh, da-da. Yeah. But I'm like, why couldn't he just let go and jump? I don't understand why he had to like slice open. And then all he does is like light a torch and walks. And all the people were like stuck. They look, if you watch again, I've seen it twice. They look like fake stuck. They're just standing there, help us. And then he lights a light and then they're like, oh, okay. And they just walk out. He doesn't even pull them or carry them.
Well, it's just so like, I don't know. Everything about it's also like these movies have all been done before. And that's a problem because it's like they try to twist it in different ways, but we've just been here too many times. We know the Riddler is going to go to jail and have a plot, some kind of other plan. We know that's going to happen. We know it's going to be something where the world is going to fall. Like, yeah, how is the world going to end this time? Oh, it's a flood. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just gets so boring to me. Like these movies. I mean, I don't know the solution, but it's just like, we've been in this world too many times.
Well, that's why I think, and I've said this before, they have to have, because it's a movie that's cost $300 million, they got to make $10 billion. I think it would be better. And by the way, Penguin already has his own series on HBO Max.
Oh, really? Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I think it would be better if they didn't make it so grand and end of the world. You have to have the box office and get it. It would be better if it was almost like an episodic thing, like an hour and 40 minutes. And the Riddler is not threatening to end the world. He's just a serial killer you have to go find.
Let's stop with the end of the world. Every fucking comic book movie does the end of the world. It's too much. It means nothing anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what
the fucking the Avengers is like the end of the universe. Even other planets. You can't raise the stakes anymore. Lower the stakes, and that will raise the stakes. That's a brilliant point. Enough with the end of the world. Enough
I agree.
With the end of Gotham. Yeah.
And a serial killer is the end of the world for many people, just like Zodiac, a Zodiac type of thing.
Make it the individual. Yes, brilliant point.
And a thing would be fun if they got the Riddler and he escapes or he meets the Joker or whatever, and he's going to get out, whatever the fuck it is. It's just, you don't need that much going on. We don't need a mob. We don't need her to have parents or whatever, or a new mayor or any of that shit. There's just a serial killer on the loose, and Batman's going to try to find him.
I know. I totally agree. I mean, it's just like, how many times have we been through it? Like, no one in the water's flooding and we don't know that, we don't care. I'm like, drown them all. Who gives a shit, you know? And then like, there's so many things with these movies where it's like, you're going through the motions and you think this movie has a big problem where it thinks moments are surprising when they're not. Like every scene, somehow Batman beats up everyone and it's presented to you like you're shocked by this. Like it has like this music, like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And then at the end, when he goes into the water, they even want to make you think he's going to die. And you're like, well, I know that's not going to happen. It's just like, it's going you through the motions of something you've been through so many times that it's boring. And I guess the familiarity is what makes money, because people just want to watch the same thing over and over again. I mean, but I think there's a real worry that people are choosing familiarity over like good art, good challenging art, to the point where it's like, people genuinely like this movie, which is scary to me, because it's like, they're like, I love it. It's so moody. It's like, they're all moody. What the fuck are you talking about? Like they act like it's the first time it's been done, this fucking moody bullshit. Like I'm concerned by how much people love this movie.
Well, I think first of all, you're acting like it's a new development that people like bad movies. I mean, look at the highest grossing movies of the last 20 years. This isn't like some new development. In fact, usually this movie is better than most movies they like. I don't know what you're talking about. Like half the fucking Endgame and all this stuff are making $7 billion and they're just ridiculous. I haven't seen them, but they're ridiculous.
I'll take I mean, look, I hate
like
all
Fast and the Furious. You like Fast and the Furious 11. What are you talking about? They drive to the moon.
the end game is soulless. I mean, it's a fucking amusement park ride, but at least it's fucking jokes. I'd rather have jokes than this movie, which attempts jokes in an awkward way and is just boring. I'd rather have give me some Robert Downey Jr. quips over this fucking bullshit. Over him just with sunglasses inside. Like this movie does nothing to me. It's not funny and it's not interesting. And you've been there. We've been here 100 billion times.
Yes, well, I mean, we've been there. I do think there's a good movie in here. I think they could have even with what they shot. I think there's a good movie in there. If they cut down on the mob shit, if they cut down on the Catwoman shit, the mayor shit, and just had the Riddler. I think the Riddler and the Batman stuff worked. And I liked a lot of the mood, and I liked a lot of the writing and the darkness and I like this idea that the city. That I like the idea that he's in the shadows. Sometimes the light is just there to defend off criminals. I like the idea of a city going down the toilet, which we're fucking living in now. There's stuff that's good. And he's like, I can just make a little bit of difference. And I even like the reveal of the guy being like, I'm vengeance, and him being like, shit, I'm on the wrong path. I'm calling myself vengeance. This guy thinks he's vengeance, and we're in a similar world here. I have to do something different. And then he decides I should just be of service and lead these people out. Some of that stuff worked. I think there was some good stuff in there. There's just fat on it.
I agree. There is some interesting ideas about what's the definition of a superhero, and it almost kind of feels like what's the place of a white man in society now. He's like, I can just help some people, but I can't be this fucking superhero anymore. You know what I mean? But I agree. There's some interesting ideas, but I think they're not fully explored, and the reason they're not fully explored is because they had to go into the fucking. Whoever the mobster's fucking great aunt was or whatever. It has to go into a fucking 23andMe for all these fucking mobsters. And you don't have time to explore what was interesting, which is the Riddler is very similar to Batman. And what could have been really interesting, even though they just kind of gloss over it too, is the fact that the Riddler, in a way, got Batman to help him kill Falcone and how they're in it together. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of like Insomnia. There's an interesting moral gray area, but it's once again something they don't explore where Batman is like, did I help kill? You know what I mean? That would have been cool if Batman was like, wait a minute. Did I help kill? Did I want him to die? You know what I mean? It would have been interesting. I don't think the stuff is good in the movie, but I think it points to a really interesting movie that could have been made where Batman is suddenly wondering if he's the bad guy. But that's the problem with these superhero movies, I think in general, is they try to be so dark, and yet they're contained and confined by the fact that it still has to be a big blockbuster, superheroes the right answer, he's totally good kind of thing. And to me, it's like, make it some more. If you're going to do this moody shit, make it a little more immoral. Make Batman really wonder if he's culpable. But they don't go into that. That would have been interesting.
Well, of course, that is the source of all the problems in cinema now, is it has to make $1 billion. That is the number one problem with all movies. And we've talked about this before, but like, I remember reading like Woody Allen can't get funding for a movie because he raped a child. No, because but
what's the world coming to?
But they can't get funding for a movie because nowadays and in the last 20 years in film, it's not worth it for a studio to spend $20 million in a movie that makes $50 million. $30 million is a joke. They don't want to make $30 million. They spend $500 million on a movie that makes $5 billion. They want the cash return to be $750 million, not $5 million.
But then it kind of like, it makes, like with these Avengers movies, it makes sense that like they don't hide the fact they're just like kind of rides, amusement park rides with some good punch up riders. But with these Batman movies, they do try to like get dark, but then you're like, by the end, they're just saying being a superhero is good. like they don't,
because they have to get everyone to buy. Yeah. They have to make the money.
I know. And I don't know what the solution is, but like to me, I'm like, it ultimately hurts the movie, and it hurts the movie worse than an Avengers Endgame bullshit, because it's trying to strive for something, but it only strives for it stylistically, not in content, you know? I mean, I felt this the same way at the end of Dark Knight when I love the Dark Knight, but when the bad guy, what do you call it? The criminals refused to blow up the boat.
Oh, it's ridiculous, yeah.
And then Batman's like, you thought they were going to do it, don't you? Basically, so we're watching this dark, nihilistic movie, and then the message at the end is just people are a lot better than you think. like that's the message. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, and I get it, they got to make $4 billion in China, but like, I don't know. Then just don't make it so fucking dark and moody then. Don't waste my time. Make it dark and moody, and then have the message be, people are good, and don't judge a big black guy because he'll save you. And you know, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I guess they're just not making these movies for us. Is also part of it. That's the other part.
That's the theme of this whole.
It is for
podcast.
our nephews.
Well, we say that, but then everyone our age is like, "That's the greatest movie I've seen in 20 years." It's not like we're going to. It's not like we're up here talking shit about some show on Nickelodeon. I'm not like Dory the Explorer is underdeveloped. But also, there's grown adults who think this is like a masterpiece.
But some of those people also watch fucking WWF wrestling. Like they get excited for SummerSlam.
Well, yeah, they're fucking morons. I don't know, but I don't. It's getting good reviews, and people. It's these movies. People act like it's important artwork, and then you shit on it, and they go, "It's a comic book movie." Well, which one is it?
No, I just think the comic book movie part it defends some of the guy being like, "Hey, what is he doing in here?" Like that stuff, you're like, it is a comic book movie. It's based on a fucking stapled together thing that's this thin, and it says, wow, wacky doo-doo.
Can you agree with me? It could have been one lower register. Just one. Just give me one lower register. You know, it didn't need to be a soprano.
I guess.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I guess there's some good stuff. I mean, you know, Zoe's hot. It is funny with him and her like fighting together. It's like, I feel like I'm watching a porn. They're just both in leather. It's just like very erotic.
Yeah, I guess so. There's some sexy stuff. It's not as hot as Michelle Pfeiffer licking his face in leather.
Oh, that's where I want to ask. Fuck, marry, kill.
Now we're talking.
Catwoman. The three, even though there's been 4 Catwomans. But,
who are the 3?
Well, there's 4, but let's just throw out
Anne Hathaway. Michelle
Pfeiffer, and Zoe. We'll just not include Halle Berry.
I don't think I can answer. I think I get kicked out of society if I answer. Honestly,
answer. Yeah. Fuck Mary.
All right. Well, I'll kill the young black woman.
You'll kill Zoe?
Yeah, I'm killing Zoe.
You're killing Zoe? Fuck. All right. Go lynch Zoe. Jesus.
Well, you put me in a bad position here. Jesus, well, Michelle Pfeiffer licks face. That's like my thing. That Michelle Pfeiffer develop my whole sexuality. I want a woman in leather to lick me and make me eat my own cum because of Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer came to a lot of young boys at a certain age with that movie. It basically made a whole generation kind of into S&M.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's insane. So I'm gonna fuck her. I'm gonna marry Anne Hathaway because she's got big cans. She's just adorable. I love her cans. And
marry, but she's so annoying.
That's true. I read she's but like no, really it's not Anne Hathaway. It's Catwoman.
Oh,
are we talking the actors or the cats? Because Zoe's going to be the most annoying. She's annoying in the movie.
Yeah. Was she annoying? Yeah. Oh, so so now I got to imagine you like, so you're married to a superhero.
If it's the actor Anne Hathaway, maybe I'll kill because she's got some bad stances that I don't care for.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess we're doing.
And Michelle Pfeiffer, by the way, is 87 years old. We got to do the character. And I'm marrying Dark Knight Catwoman. I'm fucking Batman Returns Catwoman, and I'm killing whatever this movie's called, the Batman.
Well, I'm marrying Zoe Kravitz, okay? Because I'm just a progressive, and I just think she's like the most beautiful person ever. You know. I got to
see some other photos.
I'm fucking Anne Hathaway, and I'm killing Michelle Pfeiffer.
The licking, though. What about the lick? You know what we licked?
You know what
you
it
look
is,
like an ice cream.
You know what?
You look like a big vanilla ice cream.
I know what she's gonna look like when she gets older.
With Jimmy's.
Ruins it.
I guess.
Like it's, once you know what someone looks like when they're older, it feels like they've always been older. It's hard to imagine them as young, that's an unfair factor into this. But
yeah, you're a bad person. You're worse than me.
Well, I think Anne Hathaway she's so sexy. And but Zoe, I would marry Zoe in a heartbeat. I'd have to marry Zoe. She's the only Jew.
Yeah, I guess so. She's Jewish?
A quarter Jew. She's the perfect amount of Jew.
Yeah, that's a little high for me.
All
right, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Oh, you know what? I thought that would be funny. Has anyone ever done this sketch? At one point, he asked Batman. He tells him who's on the phone. He's like, "It's for you." Has Batman ever taken a phone call and held the phone up here because that's where his ear is? I couldn't stop laughing. He's like, "It's for you," and he's like, Hello. What? Hold on. Talk slower.
What?
I mean, that's so funny to me,
That's
holding a
very
phone
funny.
up here to his
That's
ear.
very funny.
That's gold.
There was actually one really funny line in the movie where he opens the door and he's dressed as Batman. He goes, "Do you know who I am?" And the guy's like, "I have an idea." That was pretty funny. But they also literally have the line. It's just hilarious, and they keep on doing. They literally have the line, "It's a powder keg, and Riddler's the match." But whatever. Anyway,
that's a comic book. That you have to give some leniency. It's a comic book.
I don't mind a little cheese. What I mind is that there's no fucking internal conflict or emotional, complexity.
That's a better criticism. Yeah. But I do think
there's cheese in Nolan, but but there's some real hard. And I mean, I don't think there's any cheese in the Batman original. I mean, it's campy, but there's not cheese. But I just still think that's the best one.
That score rules too.
It's the best score, and it's just like that movie. I mean, the original Batman, that's the one where you really see a guy grieving his dead parents and caught in trauma.
Yes,
it goes beyond the superhero shit. It's not about being a superhero. It's about someone being trapped in their trauma, and that's like what makes it so fascinating. It's the one movie that just breaks free from the comic book confinements. It's not trying to make a new movie. It's all about the characters themselves, and it's just fascinating, and it's an auteur vision. It's Tim Burton, it's like, it's just great. It's the best movie.
I came back from Aruba sick. I gotta sign it. I'm sick again.
I hope you're not bringing a new variant to America.
I hope so.
Jesus, we're done with variants. Isn't it weird that the COVID's now over, but only because the news has found something scarier to talk about?
It's not weird. It's how it works.
That's how it works.
It's pretty normal. I had something to say about fucking Batman. Oh, isn't it weird also that like Batman, Michael Keaton was Batman, but you forget because we were kids. He was like a Comedy Store comic like 5 years earlier.
I think
it would be like if Daniel Simonson was Batman in like 3 years, or like Eric Newman just played Batman in a couple months.
I am Batman. I think people were very upset before it happened. I think there was I think a lot of people were outraged when Michael Keaton was in it. They're like, "What? Beetlejuice? What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
But then
my nose is. I got to wrap up. Do some plugs. I'm sick.
He gave a great performance.
He's awesome.
But it's the best Batman.
God, I look like shit.
No, you look great.
My hair's out.
Okay.
Coming back from vacation sick is the worst. You come back, you're like, all right, vacation's done. I'm gonna hit the ground running. Then you're just sick.
But is it normal that I'm a little depressed at this point?
Yeah, I told you would be.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's been great, all these great experiences, but I should have been home a week and a half ago.
Well, here's the thing. Wherever you go, there you are. I had that in Aruba. Like day 7, I'm like, all of a sudden I feel down, but I'm like, yeah, that's what I feel. That's who I feel. That's what I am.
That's who I am. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm not just gonna become a happy person. I mean, it's been nice here, but I don't remember what New York is. I don't remember doing jokes longer than 10 minutes. And also, can we just talk real quickly? These crowds, I mean, they're good, but like, I don't know what works from fucking country to country. I feel like I'm doing comedy for the first time everywhere.
It's tough. I wish you'd do it for the last time some places.
And then Louis in your head. He's like, don't yell. Don't be Jewish. Try to, do it without a speech impediment. He's just getting in everyone's head. And, but anyway, no, but he's been great. It's been a great tour. It's been awesome. So, all right. So, I mean, you can see me in, I'll be on tour with Louis. I'm actually headlining a show in, Zurich now, I believe, on March 25th.
Oh, fun. That's Switzerland. Yes. The Swiss.
Switzerland, yeah, not the Swedes, the Swiss. But so go check me out there. And then Boston, Hideout Comedy Boston, April 1st and 2nd. Zany Chicago, April 7th through 9th. And then for the love of God, please get tickets to my taping. I was going to do it. It got postponed. I'm trying to drum up excitement again, but I've already did that already, so no one gives a shit. But like, just get tickets. It's on my Instagram link, Instagram bio, Raanan Comedy, and April 11th, 8 or 10 p.m. I'd rather you go to 10 p.m. because the 8 will probably fill out quicker. But either way, just fucking reserve a ticket now. Go away, reserve a ticket. I need people. That's it.
That's it. Okay. I'm in
plugs are
Laugh,
like
Boston. No, first I'm in Tampa. Tampa Side Splitters, March 24th to the 26th. Florida, come on out. I know how much you guys are watching. And then Boston, April 14th through the 16th, Laugh Boston. And then Buffalo, April 21st to the 23rd. May 5th through the 7th, I'm in Austin, Texas. I might have a London date coming up, which I'm excited. You'll probably still be out there. May 12th to the 14th, Good Nights in Raleigh. A bunch of fun stuff. Go to my website, and I gotta go. I gotta blow my nose. I'm sick. This is great.
All right, great talk. Cut.